Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Dennis, and today I'm with Serish, and we'll be covering different areas. So I'll let Serish introduce himself. So please.
Yeah, thank you. So my name is Suresh Bedi. I'm originally from the U.S., specifically Washington,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm now serving at the Baha'i World Center in Haifa, Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So so today Serish is our guest, and we'll be covering different topics. From religious to non-religious activities to anything that will come up. In short, we don't have a prompt, I think, that tells us what to say. So just before we start the podcast, the reason why I approached Sarush was just to have a discussion on field, like, for example, things that we normally do. One of the things that we do most of the time, I think, is to do with good and evil kind of stuff. And my mind, I'm wondering what is good and what is evil. What is the definition of these things? Because sometimes people do evil things in the name of good, and some people do good things in order to avoid evil. I've been always conflicted and thinking, so if I'm going to talk about good, how can I define the word good? And if I'm going to talk about evil, then how am I going to define the word evil? Because around the world, there's a lot of things, right? So a lot of things that they kind of mixed up in this field. So today, Sarisha and I are going to try and explore these fields and see what do we know concerning
If
these things.
anything.
Yeah, if anything to do with good or evil, yeah.
I think we're all inherently good, right?
Yeah.
And when we think of good and evil, we, I guess from a, not only from like a Baha'i standpoint, but just a human standpoint, like, good is innately within us. Baha'u'llah talks about how he has created us noble,
Yeah.
So already we begin at a noble stage. And once we get into our earthly human lives, then, we start wandering, we get into, different things. And I guess so-called evil, you could think of it as, is just the absence of good, right? Like darkness is the absence of light.
Yeah.
Poverty, absence of wealth. And, you can kind of go on and give different examples. But I think as humans, like we just, like, the number one thing that we want to do is just try and help each other to do anything, so whether it's helping someone carry groceries, whether it's helping someone cross the street, to all the way to, like, you name it, name it. And I think when people, I say that when people kind of go down the lane of, I don't want to say, I guess not evil, but just not good, then you can kind of, it just get involved in things that, I think, I guess what I'm trying to say is, when people start drifting away from the good, it's more so trying to, in a sense, like, find themselves in trying to, like, cope with what they're doing, right? And I think a lot of things that we do in life is actually just, it's almost as if it's a coping mechanism to deal with the stress, to deal with the noise, to deal with anything that we don't want to deal with, right? So, I mean, I guess I don't want to say I'm like a saint, but because I'm far from it, but I haven't had, so much experience to speak on in terms of, like, oh, I can name that as a coping, yeah, I did this because of that, I did that. But like, there's so many things that we come across, that it becomes the reason why we do it is because we just don't want to face the truth. We don't want to face the face value. You know, we kind of want to. The human mind is very good at trying to deceive. You know, you deceive yourself,
Yeah,
because
that's true. Yeah.
you start getting into like a routine of like, oh, this isn't good, but you know, if I do it this way or if I do that, then it is good. But when really you're just trying to, you know, make your way around what is actual truth, or you know.
Think no one is born evil, right? So,
Yeah.
and like what you're saying concerning the Baha'i writings, you find that in all the writings they say that we are born noble
Mm-hmm.
and we are born with all the good qualities, right?
Mm.
And this thing of evil or good is that each one of us has goodness in us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So the badness thing is just the lower nature
Mm-hmm.
of our. Normally, we say is our animal part, right?
Mm-hmm.
The greediness,
Yeah. Yeah.
all this kind of wanting everything for yourself, is just that self part of you which
Yeah.
kind of cannot stand the opposite side, right?
Yeah. No. Because it's like I think I was telling you earlier, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts
Yeah.
and all this, and it's a very, very common, the common theme that I've been picking up on a lot of, I guess the kind of podcasts I've been listening to is just, I think, life in general, how to navigate around it, relationships, love,
Mm.
coping, all
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
It's that we constantly put ourselves in the familiar, right? What we're familiar with. That's what
Yeah.
we're comfortable with. That's our
Yeah.
comfort zone.
Yeah.
And as soon as we step out of that, the body's kind of in a state of like shock. It doesn't know like,
What to
what is
do.
this? I don't know
Yeah.
what this is, so I'm gonna
Mhm.
quickly pull myself back into my past, if you want to call it, back into like
Yeah.
what's familiar.
Mhm.
And so, and that's kind of like, maybe you could look at that as like, maybe that's like your ego
Mhm.
talking to, not wanting to
Mhm.
kind of get out, or your lower nature, or your, you know, when you're doing something that you know is not beneficial, yet you do it. It's most likely because you're afraid to move into the unknown. You're afraid to get out of your comfort zone. So once you
True.
start doing that, the body, like the mind, is already going to tell you, no, Serge, no, Dennis, you don't want to go into this. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So then you instantly, you know, try and like, you know, back up slowly and slowly, and, or, you know, actually back up immediately to what you're familiar with. But as you know, kind of like slowly get into the routine of, the more you want to break out of the habits and all that, then you start seeing unfamiliar feelings. You feel unfamiliar feelings. You see unfamiliar things. You experience things that are just like what is happening?
Yeah. I think one of the good examples is animals. So, you know, like a chicken. So if you have a wire mesh, chicken mesh, and you put a lot of chicken around a certain area, and then maybe one day, since it was born, right, so it has been in that comfort zone, and then one day you just remove that wire mesh, chicken wire, you know, those chicken will not go anywhere else.
Yeah.
They'll just stay there, like they won't even move a step out of that place. So it's the same thing with human, right? Like when you're very in a good comfort zone, you don't think of going to out of that zone. So I always think, what pushes people then to do evil, right? So what is the definition of evil? Like, why do people think all the time that this person is evil, or this person is good, or this person is this and that, right? What is that line that defines evil? I'll give an example. If I'm in a police uniform and I shoot someone, then I'm doing something good because I'm eliminating evil, right? If I remove that uniform and I shoot someone, then I become the other side. I'm evil because I'm killing someone. You know, but both of us, we're doing the same thing. We're just literally just killing a person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what is that fine line, like, defines when someone is doing something good or evil? Like what I was saying in the morning, I think you missed it. We are talking about Adib was asking a question concerning rulers of the world, like how material things cloud people, right?
Oh, yeah.
And one of the example was that kings and rulers, those guys used to kill people in the name of helping the society or preventing society. Even right now, there's something called national security or something. Governments tend to do certain kind of things, which in reality, if they're put in front of people, those things are evil.
Yeah.
But in their own view, they're doing it to prevent something huge. So
Yeah,
it's kind of
yeah.
sacrificing someone or something.
It's like
in
for,
the
for the
yeah,
for the better
for the betterment.
betterment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess this whole evil idea, I think it's just very man-made. I mean, I think it's just the ego.
Yeah.
Like I don't really see. I don't know of another explanation too. Because if you, I guess someone who believes in God,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And they believe in this higher power. They know that God is all knowing, is perfect, and you know, we will never, we'll never from the Baha'i perspective, we'll never be able to actually understand or know the full essence of God, right? But we know that he's perfect. He is the creator, the ruler of all the heavens and earth. And
yeah.
so if you look at that, and there's a quote that Baha'u'llah, one of the hidden words, he says, I've breathed a breath. I've breathed, I'm going to butcher it now. But basically, in essence, I'll paraphrase.
Yeah.
I've breathed a breath of my own spirit in you.
Yeah.
You know, basically, I've, like, you have the capacity of, you know, what I am giving you, all this goodness, all this perfection, you know, because we're God has created us in His image, right? I believe that's in like the Bible is, or in Christianity, that's kind of like
I think in Christianity is where like God breath.
Right. So, or like the Holy Spirit is within. So, I mean, if you think of it like that, so if we're created out of such perfection, and we see all this evil, like where did it come from? Because it sure as heck didn't come from someone who created us, right?
Yeah.
It came from something that we created ourselves.
That's very true.
And I think that it comes from like how do you see all of these you hear some stories or like movies, someone gets in like a I don't know, they get in like a gambling debt or something like that. The thing to cope with that is like, what do you do is to not deal with that person.
Yeah.
You just kill them, right? It's like you constantly see all of this I don't know, like I don't want to keep saying coping, but it seems like it's like an escape from truth, from reality. That's what evil, that's what this darkness does to us, right? It doesn't allow us to see what's good. It doesn't allow us to see what's actually true.
Yeah.
It's all, I see it as just a sheer just distraction in a sense. In essence, I mean, this might not, sure as heck doesn't seem like that, but I think it's just another deterrent from what's good in nature.
Yeah, it's interesting when you mention that most of this evil stuff is things that we create ourselves. And it's true, right? So, like, for example, if you think of all the things that humans we have done since we knew ourselves as humans, it's all about destruction, right?
Yeah.
So we destruct other people, like destruction of property, destruction of human life, destruction of anything that we touch. But is it also interesting, through that process, something new always comes up, right?
Yeah.
So, like the question of rulers and kings, during different reigns when different people are ruling, a lot of bloodshed happened and a lot of people died. And if you are religious, then you believe that all these things has a reason, that all these things happen. But the thing of human being creating evil is really evident. Like someone comes up with a scientific discovery and we turn that scientific discovery as a weapon. Like right now, what is the reason of people killing each other? It's not for good.
No,
It's just greediness. The other human nature of us is like territorial kind of thing.
right.
This is my space, and I just want to be the only one in this space, right? And we don't really, because of selfish desire and all this kind of stuff, we don't think about other people. We just think about us. It's a matter of protection. It's a matter of I want more than another person.
Yeah, well, what can I do for me? Like
Yeah.
everything for me. It's
It's interesting. Like, well, I was just thinking about it. We just is not really coming. Like the evil part is not coming from God. It's just coming from us.
yeah. I think it's the more we give into our ego, the more we listen into our desires, the more we do things for ourselves in the way that Western society has labeled like self-love, right? I guess maybe self-love, that was too much, but I guess what I was trying to say was the more we do things for ourselves to the extreme that we don't care about what other people are doing. It's like we're doing things for ourselves. Like I'm doing it for myself so long as no one else gets like hurt, right?
Yeah.
And that's like perfect. Like that's perfectly fine. But it's like no, like what you want to be doing is you want to take care of yourself. You want to love yourself. You want to fuel your body with, the right things, fuel your mind and all that. But the purpose is to be able to be of assistance to the wider community, to others. And I think when more and more people think of it like that, we're still taking care of ourselves. No one said not to, but it's not it's not so that we become so self-reliant on each other, because we're not, like, humans aren't isolated beings, right? Like we need to bounce off each other. We need to be able to collaborate with each other. And when we collaborate with each other, that's when we're all, that's when you see the most like happen.
Yeah.
Like the whole industrial revolution, all of these different ideas flowing together, like that. Once people get together, you start seeing things just like expand. It's just expansion, more discoveries, more things. But the moment you start seeing people just kind of like doing things on their own, that's like, okay, you're bound to kind of lose the power that humans were like kind of made to do, right? Prosper together. And
I always think, like, one of my point on those things, that everything goes back to the beginning. And the beginning of a society starts with the family, right? So if people are raised in certain way that does not foster this kind of thoughts, then it's more likely when they grow up, they'll never foster them. So parenting, when someone is young and it goes through a proper parenting where, like, okay, care for your brother, love your brother as you love yourself. Doing good is better than doing evil. Being jealous of someone else is not something okay. When these things are infused to you when you are young, then you grow up knowing that, okay, social skills and social qualities are more important than personal gain, right?
Yeah. Oh, of course. Because that's when you're actually in the real world.
Yeah.
Like your family is, your family is great, growing up, all that. But once you step into the real world and outside world, like, life isn't how your mom or dad said it's going to be, like how you see in your family. It is, like, there are things you see, there are things you hear about, there's the things that you even do yourselves. You're like, oh, this is not like the way I was raised. But, you kind of like, that's just like part of life. You go through these stages and you go through these phases of life to figure it out, right?
Yeah. And there's one I think podcast number 6 or something, I was talking to Selam, and one of the things that we're talking about is like the need of having qualities that foster this kind of good rather than a quality that fosters something of evil. And because of the thought of competition, the thought of ego and self, we end up doing things that hurts the rest of the society. I'll give an example. Like one of the common thing that usually people say is that I did this for you, you know, or I did this because I loved you. It's because of love I did this one. It's because of protection. I was protecting my family. Because of those kind of say, we do things that are not supposed to be done.
Right.
And because it's something that we create, right? So the evil part is something that you create.
That's right.
I'm one of the person who doesn't subscribe to the thought of satanic kind of thoughts, right?
Oh, yeah.
So for me, I'm like, everybody is always conscious on whatever they're doing. Because human beings will like to attribute things on, to blame things on other things, right?
So anything that gets you away from, facing. Exactly. It's like, sorry, go ahead, finish.
No, it's fine.
It's just like the whole idea of like you try and get away from the truth. You try and push yourself away. It's like you just don't want to deal with what you need to deal
aftermath,
with. Yeah, and you do what you do, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna turn my face, and that's what like constantly leads to, like, if you really look at it from a just like humanity in general, right? When you look at, like, I don't want to go into politics, and I know we're not going to do that, but like the fact that wars start, right? It's just to gain more for each other, right? As in, like, not for each other, but for one side,
like one group of people,
one
right?
Group of people. That's right. So then, but then when you look at that, you're like, okay, what effect would this have on the other side? And as soon as you pose that question, of course, you know that what you're going to do is not the right thing in the sense of, like, there's going to be a lot of bloodshed. There's going to be a lot of things happening. The aftermath, it's not going to be fun. But yet, it's such a, like, you don't really care. You don't, you try and just kind of like escape reality in a sense. It's like, no, it's not true. We're better off actually gaining more territory, gaining more land. So it's like, yeah, absolutely. I think we're all conscious of what we do.
We are, and one of the things that you just mentioned about the war, you find that even though over time, like if you look at human history, we've been getting better and better in terms of war. The wars that we're fighting is less compared to the wars that were being fought before. But still, there's a big group in society that they feel that they still need to do it, that there's need to be to protect territorial, right, to have your own space. So I watch animal stuff a lot. So there's this animal called the gorillas. They're like huge, right? So they're also territorial, or the monkeys. They're very territorial. And if another animal passes there, even if it's just the fellow monkeys, they pass the lion, it's gonna kill them. Even the lions are also like the same thing. They're territorial. They kind of mark their own space. Because if you go to biology, you fall into mammals, right? So in the part of animals.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so part of us, we still have that animal-driven kind of qualities.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's so strong that it end up like causing a lot of problems, right? But if you do something bad, someone else used to do something bad, when they do it, they feel better. They brag about it. Have you seen this kind of, like, even in movies or something? Someone does something bad, they brag, I did it, finally I've done it.
Yeah.
But people do something good, they always don't feel like they're, I'd say, they don't feel it. I was telling my wife the other day, is like, not even my wife, I was talking to Adib, and
Adib or wife?
both of them. So I was just telling them something. It's like, when you have a quarrel at your workplace, and you feel that anger,
Yeah.
and they say, let's say time has run out, you did not fulfill the
Right,
the
right.
fight, right? You go back at home, you are eager to go tomorrow. It's not because you love your work. You're just eager to go tomorrow to finish the fight.
Yeah, yeah. Which is kind of it's like the whole, you don't have a good day at work, you go home, and then you even like bring that out into the house, right? Into the
Yeah.
household.
Yeah.
And once you do that, it's like at that point, okay, there you're already dealing with some bad or just like negative thoughts, negative emotions and stuff, and you're bringing that to the home. And it's not to say like your workplace, leave it, your work feelings, all that, leave it at work, don't bring it home. But it's like more than welcome to bring it home, but in the right
Yeah.
mindset, right?
Yeah.
It's not to, you don't want to put you, what is it, like your kids, your wife, you don't want to put them in a position where they also like share the hatred, share the negativity, share the kind of the bad, the evil. In another way, it's kind of like, okay, this happened at work, how can I think about it in a different light, that it doesn't happen again, and that I can speak to my colleague, in a more calm manner or tone. It's always like, I think the way I see things, it's like always like I think that's our higher nature speaking to us, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we're like, like physically, we fall in the mammals category, but in that, so we have the animalistic traits, but because the thing that differentiates us from animals is the ability to recognize and acknowledge and worship God, right? We have that level of understanding, whereas animals, it's like, we have that territory, and we're going to do whatever it is we're going to do to, like, what's mine is mine. That's like a very
Yours, right?
exactly, that's a very animal like foundation. It's just like, just survival, survival of the fittest.
Instincts, yeah.
So you do whatever you can to protect your own kind. But I mean, humans like aren't like that.
No.
In a sense that we shouldn't be like that. Yet we have, like, we're constantly doing things to boost our own ego, to boost our own self-esteem, to boost our own prestige. What can I do for me? What can I do for me? How can I get myself in a better or higher position, whatever it is? And it's like I think that's what we need to be more conscious of, and actually facing, okay, I see myself doing this. Why am I doing this? And how do I replace it with the actual, conscious goodness of the higher nature?
Yeah. So I always think, like, for example, one of my thoughts always goes like, so if you want to change the way people think, the way people do things, one of the easiest way is to go through younger generation. So, like, for example, there's a place they say you cannot straighten the broken tree. You cannot make it straight, right? If you bent tree. So if you try to, if it has already grown, you cannot make it straight. If you try, it breaks.
Yeah.
But if a tree is young, you can make it straight, right?
Right.
So the easiest way to infuse things in society is through young generation.
Right. The youth.
Yeah, the youth. And I've been thinking, so what are this kind of stuff that you can do with youth, right? So how can you change the way they think? How can you make them not think that everything in the world is just evil?
Yeah.
And one of the examples is, like, you can see right now around the world, almost many countries, mostly in Africa, the youth are rising up, right? So they're going against their government, they're going against the policies which were built long time ago. They want change. They have that fire in them that is burning,
Yeah.
They want something new. So
Exactly.
how do you do that? How do you change that kind of mindset?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot easier said than done, huh?
Yeah, of course.
Everything is.
I mean, someone was saying that everything that you read sounds so beautiful, and you can admire it. But if someone tells you, okay, can you do exactly what you've read, you're like,
Yeah, it's the action part.
it's the action part, yeah.
We can all say. I mean, like I think it's good for us to like speak about these things because it's the actual truth. Like even as Baha'is, right?
Yeah,
We say that we're a Baha'i,
yeah,
but it's just like a label, you know. You say I'm a Baha'i, okay. I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian. I'm a Muslim, I'm a Muslim. Like you
Muslim,
can
yeah.
say that for anything, and until you actually show up and you know it's the coherence, it's the coherent life of reading, you know, reading what you are, just doing what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And once you start doing that, that's when I think that's when people start getting more uncomfortable because it's shifting away from what society has said to do, right? Society
Yeah.
says one thing, but it's like the difference between being credible and being right, or like speaking the truth. Like being credible is is more so I'm saying things so that people agree with me. What I'm saying is it might not be true and it
Yeah.
might be the complete opposite of what people should do, right? But it's like to gain the following, to gain people on your side. Whereas the moment you speak the truth and it's contrary to what society is saying, but society is like, no, that's what's right. That's when you start getting some clashes. That's when you start getting you know, some backfire. And I think more and more people, like the more you speak the truth, the more unfortunate like hatred, unfortunate circumstances you'll find yourselves in it. But it's like we need that. So the more youth are you know, standing up and actually voicing their opinions, I wouldn't say, you know, fighting physically, but it's more like fighting with like your voice and the opinions. Like no one said to not share your opinions, but it's like how you say it, what you say, to whom you say it to. That's what matters at, you know, at the end of the day. The message that you you know, give to the world, that's if it's within good intention, if it's the way it's said, it has to be in a way that it doesn't degrade or put down a group or, you know, someone. It has to be in a way that, you know, you speak the truth, but not in the way that I guess how people have that the anger of wanting to see some change.
Yeah.
Because I was talking to someone about like a month ago, and they had gotten into the idea of like speaking up and voicing their opinions and stuff, you know. And I guess that this is kind of maybe getting into politics, so I won't really go into that.
Yeah.
But it's just like the idea of like, you know, by all means, like share your opinion, say what you say, but as long as it's not at the expense of putting someone down, putting another group down. It's like, what can we do now to like work together and grow together, right? Like it's just like in a relationship. It's not like it's not two people versus each other, right?
No.
It's like one person, you know, it's team A and team B, and how can you work and grow? The more you go through life, it's not like, oh, you know, I don't like this person anymore. It's like, okay, I've stuck with this person, I've committed to this person. Now how, you know, it's not how many battles, how many fights you can win. It's like how many fights you can both come out on top. You don't want to put the other one down. You don't want to put another group of people down. So I think the more people get that sort of understanding and get that mindset, that like mindset shift, you know, it's like it's a paradigm shift that you have to implement, and you kind of have to think of it in that way. The more and more you do that, it's the more you see good. Although it's tough to go through that, it's needed.
It's needed.
That's the only way to grow.
I think, you know, the thing about change, people going through change. One of my best example for change, and that change make something new or something new, something different, is I think it's the eagles. You know, the bad eagle.
The bad ego.
the eagles.
Oh, eagle, bald. Yeah,
The one that fly.
yeah. It's American national bird.
So when it is 40,
Yeah.
I might be wrong on the statistics, but I think when it's 40, it starts losing the feathers.
Oh, yeah.
And the claws become really weak, and the beak become weak.
Yeah.
So it has to knock out the beak. It has to knock out the claws.
Right.
It has to pluck all of.
And it's painful.
Hair, and it's super painful.
Yeah.
If it goes through that, it lives another 30 years.
Oh.
If it doesn't, it dies.
Yeah.
So it's like change, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you don't change, you're done.
Yeah.
If you change, you have more time. You have better life.
And that's the thing. I mean, if you look at it, change is stepping into what's not familiar or what's not known to you. No? Like the more you stay in your little bubble, your little comfort zone, it's like that's when there is no change. Like if you how can you expect to say, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, but you're not willing to step outside and actually do it. It's as soon as you start getting those feelings of like, okay, what's going on, take that leap of faith, take that next step, because as soon as you go outside of that bubble, like you need to let go of what's familiar, what's known to you, in order to seek that change, in order to grow.
Yeah.
The more you hold on to
the
past, the more you hold on to it's also like the more you hold on and try and control the outcomes that you're wanting. I want change, but I want it like this way, so I'm gonna push for that. The more you control, that's when you start seeing it's more tense. So it's more so detaching, letting go, trusting, believing. Then you start seeing some change, and it's gonna you're gonna experience these changes in not ways that you've never experienced. Because if you've experienced it, then it's it's no different.
There's no difference,
right?
Yeah.
There's no change.
It's true.
Yeah.
I think what I always say is you get detached from what you know. You learn what was the mistakes, you improve on them. You take what is good and leave what is bad. Right? So and then you move on to another place. And that's kind of people going through a school, right? You go class 1, class 2, you're improving every time you're there. You're not just constantly in one place. But a lot of people get conflicted with this idea, and one of the reasons I'm saying the youth is because when you're youth, you kind of you're trying to explore anything that is available there to see where you stand, right? So
you're trying to fit into any
you're trying to fit in anything. And if the society is not ready to receive you, it crumbles. And one of the good example is the populations in Africa or in Asia or somewhere else. We find that even just talk about Africa, they say the youth population in Africa will be more in 2030. It'll have more population compared to Western world, right? To America or Australia or somewhere. So more people will be in Africa in terms of youth. And when you think about this, okay, is the society ready to receive? Because when people come up, they have different kind of mindset. They have different kind of change. They look things in the way that you don't see, right? Yeah. And if you just cancel them all the time, they try to talk you like, you're wrong, we're the older people, then we know better than you. Then it creates chaos. It creates that imbalance in the society. Always for me, it's okay, so how do you help these people who are youth, keeping in mind that they're not stupid?
No, they're smart.
And you are not smarter than them, so that's one mistake that people do. People tend to think that youth, they don't know anything, so you have to teach them
because they lack the experience,
whatever. So in terms of, they don't have experience, I've lived long enough, I've experience. But that's not the point. These young humans, they have a lot of things that they can offer, which might even be better than you are. And one of the person was telling me that if you're 40 and the child is 1 year, you better listen to that one here because you're actually messing up. You're messing up the world because by the time they're 40 will be gone, right?
Yeah.
So you're literally just destroying their world. And when they're complaining, they're not complaining just because you're doing better and they don't like it. No, they're looking like when I'm 40 or when I'm 50,
Yeah.
what kind of world
Am I
am I
gonna
going
be
to
li-
live
yeah.
in? You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's like the questions that we ask. You know, when you when a youth or like a junior, it's just like a kid constantly asks you question. Oh, why this? Why that? Why that? It's like just stop it. You know, I don't want to. When it gets into serious issues, it's like you push it away because in a sense it's like you don't want to deal with the truth. You don't want to deal with actually what's the root of the problem is, right? All these huge companies, like even take like pharmaceuticals, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like even the whole idea of giving a pill to like cure or just treat the symptom, right? Or treat the disease. It's like people are just getting that left and right. And I was talking to my mom the other day, and she's been looking into these different kind of doctors who look at a more natural approach to medicine, more I guess more Western as opposed to more Eastern than opposed to Western. And I forget the term of the terminology of like what the doctor is, but basically it said this doctor uses an approach that is patient oriented and tries to find the root cause of the disease rather than just treating the symptoms, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, isn't that how all shouldn't how
Doctors
that
should do
yeah shouldn't that how all doctors should be treating
Interesting.
their patients?
I mean, if I hear the word doctor, I'm thinking like he's going to
It's
treat
like,
the
oh,
root
okay,
cause.
so he's exactly like,
Yeah.
okay, if I have a I don't know if I have a cough or sneeze or whatever it is, it's like I'm not just going to be treated just because of the cough or sneeze. It's like I expect
What
to be
causes,
treated like
yeah?
why am I
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
this? And it's so like it's like, oh, you hurt over here. It's like, here, take this pill and heal it. It's like, okay, come back if you need more. It's like it's just a money game.
It is.
And
It is money game.
when I read that definition of that spit, I'll have to search it up again. I don't have my phone on me, but
Yeah.
when I read that definition, I was like, there's an actual specific practice of going to the root cause of the issue rather than just the symptom. I'm like, don't you always want to go for the root cause? Like, why would you only want to go to the symptoms? It's so, I don't know. It just shows sometimes like how backwards we think is
Yeah.
just is because we just constantly want some immediate
Instant.
resolution, instant remedy, rather than actually taking the time, putting in the work, accepting like, okay, this is going to be a process, right? It's a journey. It's not an overnight boom.
I'm really shocked.
You're cured.
I thought doctors are supposed to find what causes diseases.
It's like I don't know. I read that. I was like, what in God's name?
But because when I hear pharmaceuticals, I'm like, okay, so these guys are really doing research, and their research is mostly to cure not the symptom, but the root cause of the disease.
Right, yeah.
But when you're saying that doctor has a different definition, I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
like it's, and I don't want to undermine at all what research
Yeah.
is doing, because they're doing they're doing
good
a
job.
lot,
They're
right?
doing a lot
I mean,
of
look how
good
far
job, yeah.
we've come to actually be able to the development of like of a pill that actually like helps, with
From
with
a
what you
bigger
can.
pill like this to
Yeah,
small one.
I mean, it's kind of like that's pretty miraculous in itself. But the fact that we've just stopped there and we've only been going more and more into paying more money. Okay, let me just get this instant relief. Oh, I have a headache. Let me just take some Advil or Acamol or whatever it is. Rather than looking, it's like, okay, what am I eating? What am I drinking? What am I doing that is causing these constant stomach aches, constant headaches, heartburns, whatever it is? Because it's like, we have so much more control than we think. and it all comes down to like our choices, right? Like in
Yes.
life, the only thing that we have control over is our choices, what we do. And if you actually listen to yourself, listen to your body, you're gonna slowly pick up on cues, pick up on these different things that, oh, you know what, actually my body's telling me this. Okay, I'm going to listen to it and I'm going to do that. Because in this physical world that we're living in, this material world, our bodies are what that's what's helping us get through this stage, right?
Yeah.
In the next life,
Could
we
be
have our
something
soul, you know,
different.
it's
Yeah.
going to be, we have no idea what it's going to be like. But it's because, okay, we're in this realm, we're in this physical plane, we need to do things in line with, you know, in line with the good, in line with all that. But to use the physical elements to help us get through life, you know? Because I think also kind of like to go on another note, it's not like being all spiritual, being, you know, like what is it like a being a monk and, you know, going in the mountains and not, you know, just kind of like pulling away from all material possessions, you know, having nothing, because that's also like that's just another extreme. But then also going to the other extreme of having everything, trying to have everything, all the money, all this wealth in the world. It's like, okay, that's also not it, right? So then it's
Yeah.
like, how do you find that balance of
Yeah.
you have your faith, right? You have your belief, and that's in a spiritual sense. But then to match that with the physical element,
Yeah.
how do we manage that in this life to be able to get us through life in a moderate yet like fulfilling way, to find our purpose, find our you know, I guess like point in life in a sense.
Like the point of moderation. How do you balance the two?
Yeah.
It's just
Yes.
interesting, like how this thing of good and evil is like deep inside, right? On almost
It's
everything,
so,
right?
yeah, it's yeah, exactly.
It's like people having different ways. Like when talk about pharmaceuticals, or talking about your body, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like how do you put your conscious,
Yeah.
like how do you become conscious that what I'm doing is going to affect either my body in this way,
Mm.
or the person around me, or the decision that I'm making. And the point, and going all the way back, what you said about humans, we are the only people. We are the people, actually. We are the only
Yeah.
animals
Yeah.
in the animal part who have the decision to make a choice,
Yeah.
right? So in everything that we do in human history is the choice. One of example, someone somewhere long time ago decided to use fire.
Mm-hmm.
Until now you're still using fire.
Yeah.
He made a choice of using fire. Others didn't, right? Then someone somewhere long time ago decided to make a shelter. And all of us using shelter.
Yeah.
Like all this kind of, someone makes a choice, and that choice changes the way we view things even
Yeah.
in future, right? So the humanity, how we decided to make things is affecting us. And that's why it's like, if we are now who are apparently alive, if we make a bad decision, then we're going to destroy future for our kids,
Mm-hmm.
for the youth. And that's why most people like keep more concentration, and they try to find out, okay, what can I do better, not to destroy the society, not to make the other generation that is coming to suffer, rather than doing that to make it better. But also I find like these things about ego. We forget that, okay, this planet does not belong to you only. It is just generation of
Yeah.
people we're gonna live in this world. Because in reality, no one knows what will happen to this planet,
Oh, yeah.
right? So I don't know from which year people have been thinking that the world is gonna end.
Yeah.
It has
2012.
never ended.
Yeah. Good movie.
Some people died, some people killed themselves, all this kind of stuff,
Yes.
right? But here we are.
Mm-hmm.
In few years' time, we'll be gone. Someone else will come in. So how do we make better decision? How do we not prevent doing evil stuff, rather than doing something better, thinking, knowing that, okay, there's a generation behind us that also wants to use the same planet, right? It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah. It's It's very interesting to think about, but I think it ultimately comes down to viewing everyone as like your own,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
The more like I think of you as a brother. For my brother, like I wouldn't want to hurt or do anything wrong,
Mm.
you know? And it's that kind of love that we need to have. And it's not like, oh, love, you know, love this, love that, but it's the kind of love that you care deeply about each other to the point that, you know, you like you really care. You want these you want the best for each other.
Yeah.
And the more we think of each other as our brothers and sisters, then you'll start to see like a shift in, I think, the way we interact with each other,
Mm.
the way the things that we say to each other, how we conduct ourselves, even.
Yeah.
And I think it's that, and in the Baha'i writings, it's talked heavily about how that, you know, when it's implemented, you see that change. Everyone's unified. Everyone loves each other. Everyone wants the best for each other.
Yeah,
So
true.
if you look at future generations, it's like, okay, how do I make sure that my kids are going to have a world in which they're going to live and actually prosper and grow? It's from a young age, it's that fundamental value of an idea of loving everyone as your own, loving them as your own brother, loving them as your own sister.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think it's that kind of like, if I was in your position, what would I be doing,
Yeah.
right? Or how would I treat you? It's like the golden rule: treat others the way you want to be treated.
Yeah.
And it's like we just say it, right? But once you actually implement it, then that's when you start seeing the change. Like change doesn't come from just saying.
No.
The act, I mean, the thought of it, that's the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it can't just always be the beginning. If you know, you can't always have, you're not going to have any change, you're not going to have anything if it only stays in the mind. Once you implement it in the three-dimensional reality that we're living in, that's when you start seeing the change. That's when you start seeing the gears and the wheels turning. So
Yeah. Okay, so
yeah.
you have something else to add?
No. That's
Okay. Thank you so much for coming, and I'm really happy.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope we'll have more discussions next time
Yeah,
and have
for
different
sure.
stuff.
For sure.
Thank you, bro.
Thanks, bro.